Will the meeting please come to order? Welcome to the second meeting of the 16th Metropolitan Council of Nashville and Davidson County. We are Nashvillians' legislative branch of government, and today is October 17th, 2023. Will all members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation is being offered by Rabbi Lori Rice of Congregation Micah, the guest of Councilmember Coupin.
Thank you for inviting me to be here with you tonight. I am very proud to call this city my home, and I look out at this room with so many faces of people I call my friends, relationships built over nearly 2 decades. According to Jewish legend, a two-headed man lived in the time of King Solomon. He fathered 6 normal children and a 7th with 2 heads like himself. When the father died, the son with 2 heads came before King Solomon demanding a double share of the inheritance. King Solomon wanted to know if this was truly one soul with 2 heads. So he covered one head and poured hot water on the other. Ouch, both heads cried out. Last week, Jews in Israel were slaughtered, and Jewish people everywhere cried, "One body, many heads." The Jewish community is still collectively in shock and mourning over the savage mass murder and kidnapping of our people. And yet, this week I am asking my congregants and all of us here tonight to dare to hold the humanity and the heartache and the dignity and need for security of the Israeli people, while also holding the humanity and the dignity and the need for justice of the Palestinian people. For too long, these two have been set up as incompatible, but this is a false binary. The only liberation will be a shared liberation. The only justice is a justice for all. This week, I read statements from folks, some of them allies, that were so implausible. I had to read them several times to make sure they were not satire. In these statements was not only an inability to condemn the murder of innocents, but sometimes also an unwillingness to condemn Hamas. Sometimes even a subtle hint at celebration. And let me just say that defending Hamas's atrocities does not signal that you care about justice for Palestinians. It only reveals that you accept the same tropes of Jewish power that led to the murderous rampages in Europe and throughout history. The potent, ancient lie that any Jew is responsible for the behavior of all Jews. That certainty that all Jews, any Jew, every Jew is responsible for killing God, responsible for the Black Death, responsible for economic collapse, responsible for migrant caravans and hurricanes and space lasers, responsible for COVID, responsible for all human suffering. The only liberation will be a shared liberation. The only justice is justice for all. So what does that mean? Call a friend in Israel and let them know you stand with them in solidarity. Call a Palestinian friend and share your hope for a better future. We cannot take each other's pain away, but we can make sure that none of us navigates that pain alone. Message your Jewish friends and tell them that you are horrified at what Hamas did in southern Israel on October 7th. Empathize with their pain. Message your Muslim friends and let them know that vigilante revenge murders against Muslims anywhere in the world is immoral and will not be sanctioned. And please, be careful to separate people from the policies of their governments and from the actions of terrorists who live among them. Be careful not to collapse history and context into narrow interpretation. Be careful not to eschew complexity and nuanced for the sake of memification. Be careful to recognize that grief or support for one side does not mean hate for the other. Be careful not to lose empathy for those with whom you disagree. Be careful not to dehumanize others, because when we do, we dehumanize ourselves. And lastly, please let's be tender with ourselves and with each other, because we have already lost so much, and I pray we do not lose our minds. I fear that in the coming days and weeks, we will continue to see bloodshed and violence, and we will mourn collectively the loss of life. And somehow we need to find the grit and will to support each other as we work toward the ideals of justice and dignity for all. Let us not lose touch with the parts of ourselves that are needed most right now and which make our city unique and a model for other cities. Our compassion, our humanity, and our care. Shema Kolenu, please God, hear our prayer. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated, and thank you very much, Rabbi Rice. Thank you. Without objection, we will suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for the adoption of the minutes from October the 3rd of 2023? Okay, the motion properly seconded. Without objection, the minutes of the meeting are approved. Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor? One more time, Mr. Clerk, I apologize.
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you. Okay, colleagues, we are now ready for elections and confirmations. Without objection, for a better order of the meeting, given our new voting system, which is already open on members' tablets, we will begin with item E7 on your agenda and continue in order through E9. We're going to skip E10. We'll get back to it. Then E11 and E12, finishing with item E10. All 6 of these items may use election-style voting via our new system, which is currently open on your tablets, or a voice vote if there is a singular nominee. Item E10 is to elect community members to serve on the Short-Term Rentals Appeal Board, and had a different nominating process with nominations having been made at the last meeting. And those nominees have spoken before the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee already this evening. So this evening, we will be electing the council's representatives to the Metro Audit Committee, the Planning Commission, our President Pro Tem, the Short-Term Rentals Appeal Board, and the Traffic and Parking Commission. Regarding the election of our council colleagues specifically, subsequent to the notice at last meeting, some members have written letters of qualification for various positions, which you will have received via email and or are on your desk. Letters were not required, and nominators may speak briefly this evening about their council member nominee and defer the remainder of their 3 minutes time to their nominee. Members may nominate themselves. Nominators and or their nominee may speak no more than 3 minutes in total. Speaking is not required, but I am sure the public and the body would appreciate knowing what you hope to bring to your service in the role, even if you are the singular nominee. Okay, so we're going to start with agenda item E7. And that is the election to the Metro Audit Committee. Are there nominations from the floor for the Metro Audit Committee? Nominators, if you would please raise your hands to be recognized. Okay. Councilwoman Welsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to nominate Russ Bradford.
Thank you. And we'll record all these and then afford the opportunity after that, okay? Yep. Councilwoman Allen, you are recognized for a
Thank you,
nomination.
Madam Chair. I would like to nominate Courtney Johnston.
Ms. Stiles, are you still seeking to be recognized? Councilwoman Stiles, you are recognized for a nomination.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I wanted to nominate Councilwoman Berkeley Allen.
Okay. Is anyone else seeking to be recognized for a nomination for a council member to serve on the Metro Audit Committee? Okay, seeing none. Okay, the three nominees for the Metro Audit Committee are Councilman Russ Bradford, Councilwoman Courtney Johnston, and Councilwoman Berkeley Allen. We are voting, colleagues, to elect 2 council members to the Metro Audit Committee. Mr. Clerk, will you open the machines? Pardon? Oh, yes, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, thank you, Ms. Darby, for the reminder. Taking things out of order here. Okay, so going back then, to allow time to speak. So let me just reread that, colleagues, which I read earlier, okay? Okay, the council member nominating and or the nominee themselves may speak for up to 3 minutes. So I guess I would ask then for Councilwoman Welsh nominating Councilman Bradford. Ms. Welsh, would you like to be recognized? And then you're going to defer your time, okay? Councilman Bradford, then you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and thank you for Councilmember Welsh for nominating me. So one reason I'm interested in this position is when I ran 4 years ago, I had a lot of questions about the efficiency of Metro government, its policies and procedures. When I was running then and when I was running now, I used my background as a quality assurance professional for the last 6 years now, where my day job is looking at processes, looking at policies, determining what is efficient, going so far as to getting Lean Six Sigma certifications in white and green belts so that I can be better at looking at and finding efficiencies in all processes. I want to be able to use that experience and background to work with Metro and to identify problems that we have in our cities and address those and make our government more proficient and more streamlined. And so I really appreciate my colleagues' support on this and for your vote.
Thank you, Councilman Bradford. Councilwoman Allen, you recognized Councilwoman Courtney Johnson. Would you like to speak on her behalf? Okay, Ms. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to recommend Courtney Johnston for the Audit Committee. Having served for the past 4 years with her, I have watched her serve very effectively on the CARES American Rescue Plan Appropriations Committee. I know that she is very thorough, has great attention to detail, and is a dedicated steward of how Metro is spending our money. The job of the Audit Committee is to oversee the actual audit process and ensure that we have a good director in place and that there's an appropriate salary. And I know that she is highly qualified to do that. And I would like to yield my time so that if she wants to add anything to that recommendation.
Thank you, Councilwoman Johnson. You're recognized.
Thank you. And I appreciate those kind words from Councilmember Allen. I have spent, since I was 15 years old, in an accounting position. My dad said I needed to work to pay for earn my keep. And so I've literally been in accounting or finance in some way, shape, form, or fashion pretty much my entire adult life, even before that. I ran on fiscal responsibility. I've already had some interactions with the audit committee when I prompted the audit committee to look into the community foundation as it relates to money that we were steering towards them for disaster relief. And I think that was a really important thing to do. I hope to continue that work. This is something that I've been interested in even 2 years ago when I ran. And so this is very important to me, and I hope to have your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Johnson. Councilwoman Stiles, you have nominated Councilwoman Berkeley Allen. Would you like to speak on her behalf? You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd actually like to yield my time to Councilmember Allen to speak on her own behalf.
Absolutely. Councilwoman Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you. I will take some time, and then I would like to yield to Councilmember Sawara, who has served on this committee as well. I am interested in this as a member of the Budget Committee. I've served almost all 12 years that I've been on the council. Even when I wasn't on the Budget Committee, I was attended those meetings. So I have become very familiar with all the departments and how they spend their money, and I think that it's a great opportunity to be able to delve deeper into certain ones of these, just to ensure that they are both performing as they need to, which is one of the things that we audit, as well as that the money is being spent well. And again, as budget chair, I specifically had the opportunity to spend a lot of time considering what each department was doing, and welcome the opportunity to look further into that. As everyone knows, I'm an engineer. I'm very detail-oriented, and I'm good with numbers, and so I think that I would perform this job well. If council member would be willing to add anything to that, I would appreciate that as well.
Yes, Councilwoman Swara, you are recognized for the remainder of the time.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I was going to nominate Councilmember Allen for some of the reasons that she said. She's very detail-oriented, has a very good analytical mind. Serving with her on budget, I've listened over time to some of the questions that she asked, and I serve as a vice chair of budget as well, and I've worked with her closely. So having served on the audit committee, what it entails and what it's about, and being an auditor myself as a profession, I really do believe that she has the qualities and the and that she'll serve us very well on that committee, and I would like to recommend her.
Thank you, Councilwoman Swara. All right, we are voting again to elect 2 council members to the Metro Audit Committee. Now, Mr. Clerk, are we all set to open the machines with our new voting system that does not require paper? Okay, the machines are open. You may cast your votes, colleagues. Shh. All right, you're in awe. Is anyone requiring assistance from ITS? No. Okay. Mr. Clerk, with all the votes in, please close the machines and take the vote. All votes are in. The top 2 recipients of votes are Councilwoman Allen with 33 votes and Councilmember Johnson with 21 votes. Congratulations then to Councilwoman Allen and Councilwoman Johnson. Okay, colleagues, we're going to move now to item E8 on your agenda, which is the election of a planning and zoning chair, who is also our planning commission representative. And we are nominating again members to serve a 2-year term. Are there nominations from the floor for Planning Committee Chair and Planning Commissioner? I see Mr. Parker and Ms. Toombs. Mr. Parker, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councilmember Emily Benedict.
Councilman Parker nominates Councilwoman Emily Benedict. Councilwoman Toombs, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councilwoman Jennifer Gamble.
Councilwoman Toombs nominates Councilwoman Jennifer Gamble. Okay, now just as before, Councilman Parker, having nominated Emily Benedict, do you seek to be recognized to speak on her behalf?
I do, and I would just like to defer my time to the nominee.
Okay, Councilwoman Benedict, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and thank you, Councilmember Parker, for the nomination. Colleagues, I believe that planning and zoning is one of the most important things that we as council members do for our constituents. People's properties and homes are typically the largest investments that they have. And as stewards of our city's planning and zoning laws, we are tasked with telling them what they can and cannot do with their property. It is important that their voices are heard by the Planning Commission. The council member on the commission should listen to and support their colleagues, including being responsive to them. This is the first job of the planning chair. The chair should also have an extensive knowledge of the tools and resources available, whether that is updating community character policy within Nashville Next or preventing displacement. The chair should be fostering relationships between the planning department and the body so that decisions can be made in the best interests of the community. Nashville Next is almost 10 years old, and much of our zoning code needs to be updated. I believe that we can do that together through plan studies throughout the county. There are areas where we need zoning to match needed density that will allow for growth that leverages our current and planned infrastructure. We also need to make sure zoning remains unchanged in areas so that overdevelopment doesn't occur. Far too often in this city, we have a history of displacement in the name of progress. I want to be clear that I want to find solutions for the city, just as I have in District 7, that allow for development while keeping prices down so that existing residents can stay. Over the past 4 years, I've sponsored and passed 4 contextual overlays. Those overlays have prevented the demolition of our smaller, affordable housing stock. In each of these overlays, the base zoning has remained, but instead of allowing massive, tall skinnies, the overlay only allows homes of moderate size. We need to get back to building starter home price points so more Nashvillians can once again stay here. Last term, I passed an SP of a 750-unit development, and as a part of this plan, we'll use one of our newest and most effective affordable housing tools, the Mixed Income Pilot, which will provide tax abatement for as many as 300 affordable units. This plan passed the Planning Commission and the Council with no public opposition. And the community engagement helped shape the final plan, and it was wildly popular in the district. I want to help you have similar success in your districts. As I said before, zoning is big stuff, perhaps the biggest job that we have. You're on the front lines, and I hope to serve you over the next 2 years as we shape the future of our city for decades to come. I believe I have the unique experience that will help you give Nashvillians what they want so they can stay here no matter what corner of the county they're in. I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Benedict. Our second nominee was Ms. Gamble, and she was nominated by Ms. Toombs. Ms. Toombs, do you seek to be recognized?
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I'd like to yield my time to Councilwoman Gamble.
Okay. Councilwoman Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I am Councilmember Jennifer Gamble, and I'm interested in serving as your Planning and Zoning Committee Chair for the next 2 years. As you know, the Planning and Zoning Committee Chair is responsible for running the Planning and Zoning Committee meetings, as well as serving as the Metro Council representative on the Planning Commission. I believe that I have the experience and leadership skills to do this, serve in this capacity effectively. I have served previously as the chair of the Public Safety Committee for the Metro Council and has served as the immediate past vice chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. In addition, I've served as a member of the Planning and Zoning Committee for all 4 years of my first term in office. During that time, I worked with community groups and developers to ensure transparency, community engagement, and continuity in plans for development in District 3. In addition, I've worked with the Planning Department to engage the community in the 2021 redistricting process, and I introduced legislation last term that resulted in the review and update of Nashville Next community plans for 10 sub-areas across the county. As you know, Nashville Next is the guiding document that provides a long-range view of the community plan for development for our city. However, Nashville's population has grown and changed exponentially since the plan was adopted in 2015, and aspects of the community plan and character manual are outdated. As planning chair, I will advocate for and work towards a complete review and update of Nashville Next. Also, I will work to enhance and tighten up subdivision regulations in regard to development and maintenance of private roads, HOAs, and common areas. My goal is to equip council members, developers, and the general public with information and engage diverse community groups in the development of the vision, goals, and policy for the future development and growth of our city. I'm a longtime community leader, more than 25 years working to improve the quality of life in our community. You all have received several emails from community leaders and past council members who agree that I have demonstrated integrity, dedication to ensuring that the residents of Nashville and Davidson County are informed and engaged in policy issues regarding growth and development. And I have an excellent track record of building consensus for smart growth that preserve the historic nature and character of neighborhoods. Furthermore, I'm a communications professional who understands the importance of addressing our affordable housing crisis while also making sure that we enhance and maintain quality of life for residents. And I ask for your support, and I can do that effectively as the Planning and Zoning Committee Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gamble. Okay, colleagues, we have 2 nominees for the 2-year term position of our Planning Commission representative and Planning Committee Chair. They are Councilwoman Emily Benedict and Councilwoman Jennifer Gamble. We are electing 1 council member. Mr. Clerk, open the machines, please. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. With all the votes in, please close the machines and take the vote. Congratulations to Councilwoman Gamble. Thank you both for your willingness to serve. And congratulations again to Councilwoman Gamble. Okay, we are moving now to item E9 on our agenda, which is the election of our President Pro Tem. Are there nominations from the floor for President Pro Tem? Councilman Bradford, you are recognized.
I would like to nominate Councilmember at Large Zulfat Suara.
Thank you. Councilman Bradford nominates Councilwoman Zulfat Suara. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, Councilwoman Suara, would you like a brief moment to speak about what you hope to bring to the role?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to rise and say thank you to my colleague for the vote of confidence and for unanimously.
Hang on, we haven't voted for you yet.
Oh, you haven't voted?
No,
Woo!
no,
I thought it's automatic. Oh my God! See, I'm already failing in the job. Well, let's rephrase that. I would love for you to unanimously vote for me. I'm excited about this council. I want to thank Councilmember Ross Bradford. I know you were thinking of running, but I hope we find opportunity to continue to come together and work together. Bridge building is something that I do a lot of, so I'm excited to working with all of you and following the lead of our Vice Mayor and see all the great things we'll do in the next 4 years. So vote for me unanimously.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Suara. We appreciate your willingness to serve. So without objection, with only one nominee, we can vote by acclamation. So all those in favor of Councilwoman Suara serving as our President Pro Tem, please say aye. Any noes? Any abstentions? All right, now, Councilwoman Suara, you are elected. Okay, colleagues, now we are going to skip over item E10 and move to item E11. Which is the Short-Term Rental Appeals Board. We are nominating taking nominations for the election of one council member for a term that will expire August 31st in 2025. Are there nominations from the floor for the Short-Term Rentals Appeals Board? Councilwoman Evans, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councilmember Sean Parker.
Thank you. Councilwoman Evans has nominated Councilmember Sean Parker. Is anyone else seeking to nominate a colleague to the Short-Term Rentals Appeal Board? Seeing none. Councilman Parker, would you like to be recognized for what you will bring to this role or have already brought to it before, briefly?
I'll speak very briefly, Vice Mayor. Thank you. So I've been serving on this board since its inception in 2020. It's been really enlightening and very interesting to hear the details of a lot of these cases. I would invite council members to come down and join us when you have cases in your district. It's a very interesting process. And maybe in 2 years, we will have another member who will be interested in this particular regulatory space and want to serve. It's one meeting a month, so it's not too bad. But anyway, I would appreciate y'all's support on this.
All right, then, with only one nomination before us, without objection, we can vote by acclamation. So all those in favor of Councilman Sean Parker serving as our representative on the Short-Term Rentals Appeal Board, please say aye. Any saying no? Any abstentions? All right, we have elected Councilman Parker to serve. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Okay, next is item E12 for the Traffic and Parking Commission representative. We are taking nominations from the floor to elect one council member to serve a 2-year term. Are there nominations from the floor? Let's see. Councilwoman Welsh, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to nominate Quinn Evans Siegel.
Councilwoman Welsh has nominated Councilwoman Quinn Evans Siegel. Is anyone else seeking to be recognized for nomination? Councilwoman Stiles, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Actually, I'm not putting up a nomination. I wanted to share that I have been interested in this position, and I'm not going to put my name forth in supporting Councilmember Evans Siegel for this position.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other nominations for this position of Traffic and Parking Commission for the next 2 years? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Evans Siegel, I will afford you the same opportunity to speak to colleagues about what you hope to bring to this role.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Y'all just saved yourselves like 5 paragraphs and probably a kind of bad joke about parking meters. But what I want to say is, as a regular cyclist, as somebody who walks in the city, who uses the bus and drives, I am frustrated by how all these things work, like I know a lot of you are, as somebody who has put in for traffic calming year after year in my own neighborhood, only to find that yet again that golden ticket has not been awarded to what I see as an unsafe street. I know we can do better. I know actual lives depend on it. And while we have made great improvements, we see increased death, and that requires a lot of hard work from traffic and parking. And working on Downtown Connect to build that blueprint is really important as well. I would appreciate your support, and if you choose to give it to me, I hope that you will hold me to the highest standard, because it is all of our lives, our constituents' lives, and our guests' lives who depend on it. Thank you.
Councilman Bradford, I'm reluctant, but go ahead.
Can we get that bad joke?
To all of you, times maybe parked at some meters and not worried about putting change in there, because it turns out that nobody's going to check it. And we could probably do better, and we're starting to do better. It was funnier in context.
Right? I'm sure it was funnier in context. It's all good. Okay, colleagues, similar to our last votes, with no objection and only one nominee, without objection and with only one nominee before us, we can vote by acclamation. And so all in favor of Councilwoman Quinn Evans Siegel serving to represent us on the Traffic and Parking Commission, please say aye. Aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? All right, we have elected Councilwoman Quinn Evans Siegel to serve on the Traffic and Parking Commission. Thank you. Okay, we're trying to kind of group these by type, colleagues. So now we are going back to agenda item E10, which is the Short-Term Rentals Appeal Board, which originally had 4 nominees as we were coming into this meeting, but 2 have withdrawn. So we now have 2 nominees, Mr. Mike Loico, who has been nominated by Councilman Kapp, and Ms. Nicole Williams, nominated by Councilwoman Porterfield. With no objection, we will vote on these nominees together subsequent to our committee report. I was ahead of you. That's been rare so far. Okay, Councilwoman Sepulveda, you are recognized. Hang on. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Mr. Jay Jackson and Ms. Nicole William came before the Rules Committee. We voted in favor 6 in favor, 0 against.
Councilwoman Sepulveda, can you clarify, please? I believe Mr. Jackson has withdrawn.
Oh,
so
I'm
can you
sorry.
restate
I'm not reading right.
your report?
Mr. Mike Loico and Ms. Nicole Williams. 6 in favor, 0 against.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman Sepulveda, for that report. Mr. Loico and Ms. Williams have already spoken before the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Election Committee. So is there a motion for approval of both Mr. Loico and Ms. Williams to serve on the STR board, properly seconded? All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Any abstentions? So you have elected Mr. Loico and Ms. Williams. And if they are with us, if you would please stand. Okay, colleagues, so that includes concludes rather the section of our agenda that was to have been or could have been by election style voting. And so in this period now, what we're going to be doing is transitioning your machines back to our main voting system. And then we will begin with our confirmations. So that will be items E1 and E2, and then subsequent to that, E3, E4, E5, E6. As I understand it, you can put your finger near that star sticker that I know you all got when you were young children in grade school. So many of them, I'm sure. Take that and swipe across your tablet. Let's please remain quiet and in order, please. Swipe across the tablet, and that will get you back to the main voting system. Shh. Do I need to just await a ready from ITS that everybody's back where they need to be, or? Yeah. Can someone from ITS give me a thumbs up if all colleagues are back? Okay, there, that's all we need. Great. Okay. Okay. now we are starting on confirmations. Again, back on our main voting system. The first item, E1, on our agenda is the confirmation of Mr. Kevin Crumbo as Director of Finance. Councilmember Sepulveda, you are recognized as Chair of Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee for your report and a motion.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Mr. Crumbo came before the Rules Committee. We voted 7 in favor, 0 against, and with that, I move approval.
We have a motion for approval. Do I hear a second? Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, open the machines, please. Oh, wait. No. Do we have to do it on the machine? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay, the clerk has indicated that all the votes are in. So, Mr. Clerk, please close the machine and take the vote, please. The ayes have it. Our motion passes. And Mr. Crumbo, congratulations on your confirmation to be Metro's Director of Finance. Welcome back. Next is item E2, the confirmation of Mr. Wallace Dietz as Director of Law. Councilwoman Sepulveda, you are recognized for your committee report and a motion.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Mr. Dietz came before the Rules Committee. We voted 7 in favor, 0 against, and with that, I move for approval.
Thank you. The motion, there's a motion for approval. It's been properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, open the machines, please. I understand we'll have perhaps an abstention. Okay, with all the votes in, Mr. Clerk, please close the machine and take the vote. There are 34 ayes, yes votes, 0 noes, and 4 abstentions. So the ayes have it and the motion passes. Mr. Dietz, congratulations on your confirmation to continue as Metro's Director of Law. All right. Next are items E3, E4, E5, and E6. These are the appointments for the Stormwater Management Committee, the Tourism and Convention Committee, and the Work Release Commission. Councilmember Sepulveda, you are recognized for the reports on the remaining appointments.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. For Stormwater Management Commission reappointment of Trey Lewis for a term expiring on October 31st, 2027. Rules voted 7 in favor, 0 against. On Tourism and Convention Commission, the reappointment of Howard Kittle for a term expiring on June 30th, 2026. We voted 7 in favor, 0 against. For Work Release Board, appointment of Ms. Shannon Musgrave for a term expiring on January 1st. We voted 7 in favor, 0 against. For Work Release Board appointment, Mr. Jesus Gonzalez Jr. for a term expiring on January 1st, 2026. We voted 7 in favor, 0 against. And with that, I move approval of the appointees.
Thank you. Properly moved and seconded. Because all of these remaining appointments were unanimous by the committee, we can take them together. So with a proper motion and a second, all in favor? Any voting no? And any abstentions? Okay. Let's see. If you will please stand when I call your names and remain standing. And council members, please hold your applause till all new commission members have been recognized. You have reappointed Mr. Trey Lewis to the Stormwater Management Commission, Mr. Howard Cattell to the Tourism and Convention Commission. Thank you, Mr. Cattell. Ms. Shannon Musgrave to the Work Release Commission, and Mr. Jesus D. Gonzalez Jr. to the Work Release Commission. Thank you all for your willingness to serve. We appreciate you. Next is our public comment period. So we're moving out of our elections and confirmations. We have 3 individuals who have signed up for the public comment period tonight. Each speaker is allowed 2 minutes to speak and will be called in the order of their signing up. We'll let our folks depart. Thank you so much. Mr. Seamus Purdy, please. Oh, pardon me, sir. Hang on, Seamus. Go ahead.
Good evening, all. My request last meeting in regards to resolution number 16 was misconstrued by a certain council member up here. And that request was to use this grant to free up Metro money. We would accept $3.4 million, and we should take what that would effectively become discretionary police money and move it to Metro schools. Our approaches to school safety must be holistic, and the city is failing to do that. However, there are more concerns now than before. The frequent justification for this grant is that it would lower MMPD's 4% fund request or cover overtime, a statement that has been inconsistent. We don't know what the 4% request is that the SRO program will make in the upcoming budget. Any request can be made and there won't be any accountability. Additionally, the MOU language was asked about in committee, and it was mentioned the language is dictated by the state in relation to this grant. In my understanding, in other words, to accept this grant, we have to accept the state's boilerplate language impacting the MOU, which reduces Metro's autonomy over a critical aspect of our schools. We cannot risk losing more autonomy to a state that would rather remove our self-governance in a heartbeat. Finally, the frequent response to questions asked about the resolution was started by I think, or I can't tell you. While you might be satisfied this, as an MMPS student, this is very concerning. These responses came across as effectively being tantamount to cluelessness. We need better professionals to answer all of our still standing questions. This is the second meeting for many folks on council. We just saw what happens when people fail to allow the people to have questions sufficiently answered. We are currently facing the consequences of a tyrannical state that opposes our existence as a body. I ask that council oppose resolution number 16 as stands and pave a way for the community and council members to navigate these frightening realities. Don't fail at continuing to make a proper first impression tonight, because the people will remember.
Thank you, Mr. Purdy. Mr. Jason Sparks. Is Mr. Sparks here? Is anyone who knows Mr. Sparks here? Okay. Going on then to Mr. Jim Polk. Thank you, Mr. Polk.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. I come here tonight as a 30-year employee of Metro government, a retired employee for a number of years. I spent most of my career at Cone Adult Learning Center as a community education coordinator. And in that role, I was responsible for numbers, meaning hundreds at times, of people coming into a public school building in the evening hours, people coming from many different purposes, anything from sailboat building to dance classes to Microsoft Word classes. Sometimes huge groups of people coming in. I was responsible for their safety and security in the evening hours. There was no police presence. There was not even any need for that. Only one time did I ever have to call a police officer in. And that was because an electric line fell in the street in front of the school, in front of the cars. And so I have some concern about our focus at this point on things like security systems, about, not that they're not needing, about SROs. There are human needs here of these students who are experiencing tremendous stresses in their lives, particularly in the light of COVID. If you think about your life as a teenager and what it would have meant if you didn't have ball games to go to, a band to be a part of, a youth group you could be a part of. Our youth have been separated from many of those kinds of activities during COVID, and now they're trying to respond, and they're trying to find a way back into a fuller life, the fuller life they all deserve, that we had, and they need. So please try to find a way to redress the balance between security in terms of facility hardening and security systems and police officers and the needs for psychological and social and emotional support that our children desperately need. I know my time is over, so I'll sit down. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Polk. Thank you. Okay, that concludes our public comments. And we will now address resolutions on the consent agenda. I will first read the resolution numbers for items that are on the consent agenda. RS 2023-43, 44, 46, 47, 48, 49, Resolution 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, Resolution 61, 62, and 63. Are there any items that need to come off the consent agenda? Okay. Councilwoman Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to take RS 2023-58 off the consent agenda, please.
Okay, item 58 will be removed from the consent agenda. Councilwoman Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Resolution 2023-60, please.
Okay, resolution number 60 is removed from consent. Is anyone else seeking to be recognized to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay, Ms. Vo.
Thank you, Madam President. Can we please remove item 21 off the consent agenda?
Which one is it? Okay, Ms. Vo, that is agenda item 21, but it is resolution 61?
61.
Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gamble, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to remove RS 2023-59 from the consent.
Okay. Resolution 59 is removed from consent. Is anyone else seeking to be recognized to remove an item from the resolution consent agenda? Okay. Seeing none, I will read the captions of all the items on the consent agenda. Ms. Stiles, yes.
Quick question. If there is an item, and the answer to this is probably no, but I figured I'd ask it anyway. There's an item and a sponsor doesn't want to pull it off consent, but it's something that we would like to get everyone to be on. Is there a way to do that other than to pull it off consent?
There is not.
Okay. Delightful. Thank you.
Okay. So no additional items, just the ones you previously spoke to. Okay. All right. Okay. These are the items on the consent agenda. Once I have read through them all, I will ask one more time if there's anything else that you would like to have removed. RS 2023-43 is Porterfield, Evans, and Welsh is a resolution approving Amendment 2 to an adult drug court and veterans treatment court discretionary program grant from the U.S. Department of Justice to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the General Sessions Court to implement a DUI court to serve participants convicted of a misdemeanor DUI offense. RS 2023-44 is a resolution approving a contract between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and Tibera Development Group, Inc. to provide software upgrades, maintenance, and support services for e-filing systems in use by the offices of Criminal Court Clerk, Circuit Court Clerk, and the Juvenile Court Clerk. RS 2023-46 is a resolution accepting the terms of a cooperative purchasing master agreement for consulting and assessment services to meet regulatory obligations under the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act for the Information Technology Services Department. RS 2023-47 is a resolution accepting an energy efficiency and conservation block grant, EECBG, from the U.S. Department of Energy to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Department of General Services for an energy retrofit for the Metropolitan Historic Courthouse to replace lower efficient incandescent bulbs with LED lamps, improve thermal efficiency, and minimize air leakage. RS 2023-48, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency to negotiate and enter into a pilot agreement and accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 4608 Nolensville Pike, known as Sojourn Nolensville Apartments. RS 2023-49 is a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency to negotiate and enter into a pilot agreement and accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 101 Foothill Court, known as Nashville Christian Towers. RS 2023-50 is a resolution approving Amendment 1 to a grant from the Tennessee Department of Health and of Health to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to provide supplemental foods, nutrition, education, and breastfeeding promotion to eligible persons to promote good health. RS 2023-51 is a resolution approving Amendment 1 to a grant from the Music City Prep Clinic to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to provide funding to support the UU Ambassador Project to end the HIV epidemic. RS 2023-52 is a resolution approving a contract between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health and Vanderbilt University Medical Center to provide clinical experience opportunities for its dietetic externship program students. RS 2023-53 is a resolution appropriating $30,000 through a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Nashville Public Library and Oasis Center to provide services that help youth grow, thrive, and create positive change in their lives and in our community. RS 2023-54, a resolution appropriating $250,000 through a grant contract by and between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Nashville Public Library and Oasis Center, Inc., to provide college access services for the Power Youth Program. RS 2023-56, a resolution accepting a federal financial assistance award of domestic violence grant from the United States Department of Agriculture Forest Services to the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Water and Sewerage Services Department to help replant Nashville's diminishing tree canopy and retain all the benefits it provides. RS 2023-57 is a resolution honoring the life of former Chancellor and Tennessee Court of Appeals Judge Richard H. Dinkins. Next on consent is RS 2023-62, a resolution recognizing October 2023 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and RS 2023-63, a resolution recognizing October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Nashville and Davidson County. Are there any additional items that members need to be removed from consent? Okay. Okay, now I'll be going to the committee chairs for the reports on the resolutions on the consent agenda. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. RS 2023-4043 passed 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining. RS 2023-44, 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining. RS 2023-46, 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining, as well as RS 2023-47, 13-0-0. RS 2023-48, 13-0-0. RS 2023-49, 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining. RS 2023-50, 51, and 52, 53, and 54 all had 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining. RS 2023-56 had 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining.
Councilwoman Porterfield, did you have a report on RS 2023-16?
RS 2023-16.
Oh, no, I apologize.
I do not.
Let's see. I'm looking. That is not on consent. My apologies.
And that did not come back to budget. It only went back to public health and safety.
Okay. Okay, government operations and regulations. Councilman Bradford, you are recognized.
RS 2023-46, we voted 9 in favor, 0 against to approve.
Thank you, Councilman Bradford. Planning and zoning, short time interim chair, Mr. Rutherford.
Thank you, Madam President. Planning and zoning met and considered RS 2023-48 and 49, voting 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions on both.
Thank you, Councilman Rutherford. Public Health and Safety, Councilwoman Evans, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Health and Safety considered RS 2023-16. We voted 8 in favor, 4 against, with 0 abstentions. And then RS 2023-50 was 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions. RS 2023-51, 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions. And then 2023-52, also 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Okay, thank you. Public Facilities, Arts, and Culture was chaired by, or Vice Chair, Councilmember Vo. You are recognized, Ms. Vo.
Thank you, Madam President. RS 2023-53 and RS 2023-54 were both approved, 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Ms. Vo. Transportation and Infrastructure, Councilman Parker, you are recognized for your committee report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Transportation and Infrastructure considered Resolution 2023-56, recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Chair Parker. And let's see, Councilwoman Sepulveda, you're recognized for rules, confirmations, and public elections for your consent agenda items.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We looked over RS 2023-57, RS 2023-62, RS 2023-63. We voted 6 in favor, 0 against on all 3. And with that, I would move approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? Okay, with all reports in and a proper motion for approval and a second, all in favor of adopting all items on the consent agenda, say aye. Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? You adopt the consent agenda. Okay, I will now go back through the remaining resolutions that were not on consent and read those. Okay, RS 2023-16 is a resolution accepting a statewide school resource officer SRO grant from the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security to the Metropolitan government. And I should have said that it is sponsored by Porterfield, Evans, Spain, and Cortez. The Metropolitan government is acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department to provide funding to place school resource officers in all Nashville public middle schools. Is there a motion for approval? Okay, properly seconded. Okay, let's see. Okay, committee reports, please. Councilwoman, pardon? Councilwoman Porterfield, you're recognized.
This did not come back before Budget and Finance. We had it 2 weeks ago. It only went before Public Health and Safety.
Okay, I see. I've got that. Already approved. Okay, then Councilwoman Evans, you're recognized.
I apologize. Which item are we on?
We are on RS 2023-16, a resolution accepting the statewide SRO grant.
Oh, I apologize. I gave that committee report because I thought that was on consent previously.
Okay.
And it was 8 in favor, 4 against, with 0 abstentions.
Okay. And I show it on both consent and removed consent, so my apologies there. So, okay. Okay, let's see. So with those committee reports in, I guess I need again a motion for approval, please, in a second. Okay, any discussion on this matter? Okay, Mr. Hurd, my queue is not open. Hang on, colleagues. Let's not go where we went last time. Okay, thank you so much. So colleagues, just for clarification, please only request to speak for the item that is on the floor and currently before us. So this is item 16. I can see the queue, and if you're requesting to speak in agenda mode or elsewhere through the agenda, that's kind of where we get off track. So my queue is now on. Thank you, Mr. Hurd. And Mr. Prep T, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor, fellow council members, and Mr. Purdy. First and foremost, let me say thank you for being here for 2 consecutive council meetings. There are people in our city that don't even watch them. What I want to do is just give a brief report on what information we received out of committee. So currently in MNPS schools, we have 62 SROs placed in schools. So those are SROs that are currently funded through our budget. My understanding of what this grant application does would be essentially to reimburse Metro for those officers that are already placed for their salaries. My understanding of the grant is that it can only be used for those officers' salaries. Now, I have considerable issue with the memorandum of understanding that is in place between MNPD and MNPS. I think that we as a body need to explore how to better place policies that focus on non-carceral solutions and that focus not on criminalizing simple school disciplinary actions. There is a section within the MOU that specifically states that SROs shall not act as school disciplinarians, but in the very next paragraph, it says that the basic duties of SROs are to provide assistance for disruptive students. I find issue with that. I think that disruption is a classroom issue that should be dealt in the classroom, and that we should not be funneling our children through the prison industrial complex. Schools are supposed to be a place of learning. With that being said, as Mr. Purdy stated, the language within this MOU is boilerplate language that was provided to us by the state. What I would implore us to do is to explore how we can further work with MNPS, MNPD, to provide further policy guidance to make sure that apart from this MOU, that there is good standing policy in place that actually focuses on what our kids need, making sure that we're focusing on providing them with school nurses, school counseling, providing free and reduced lunch to every single student, regardless of socioeconomic status. So I just wanted to rise and provide that report on the information that I received, that we received in committee, what my concerns are as far as the policies are, and where we can go moving forward to address those policy concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Prep T. Councilman Nash, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Chair. You know, after Sandy Hook, I was still in planning at the police department and was in Chief Surpass's office discussing, much like after the Coventry tragedy, there was a public outcry. We want school resource officers in our schools. Not that the police department was necessarily wanting to find 62 officers to go to schools, but that was what the public and the political body at that time wanted. And so we've continued that practice. Chief Gilder today, this is not serving as some pipeline to the prison system, with all due respect to my colleague. We are the 40th largest school, according to Chief Gilder, 40th largest school in the school system in the country. And last year we made 13 arrests. 13 arrests. Hardly a population, I'm not sure the total population of our schools, and most of those were for like the bomb threats that you've heard about lately, or somebody bringing a gun to school. It's not about somebody getting a little disorderly in the hallway. That's handled by the schools. I know there's some discussion that was going on between, well, what is disorderly and what deserves a police thing? Well, if you hit my son once in the face, maybe, and he's okay and can go about his business, yeah, let's let the school handle it. But if my son gets hit 4 or 5 times, is down on the floor, getting his head, and has to go to the hospital, I might want a prosecution. And police officers have the discretion, and we trust them to use that judgment. Beyond the memorandum of understanding, the police department also has policies and procedures that our school resource officers have to abide by. So again, this is just supplementing the pay for the current school resource officers that are gonna be there, whether we pass this grant or not. I say, let's take the state money to pay for this thing. It only makes sense, and take it off our taxpayers.
Thank you, Councilman Nash. Councilman Cash, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I would love to be a part of a discussion about making a shift in public schools, about safety, about prioritizing what students need. I am prepared for that. I can get into the nitty-gritty of it. But you know, what to do about SROs and being able to shift money, however it's done, from SROs to other things, is a policy decision, and it needs to be made at the school board. It's not our place to make that decision. At this point, we've heard from a few great people who've expressed themselves well, but I don't think we've heard from any school board member, any parent-teacher organization of a school, any school-based employee union that they want us to make this policy shift, and we're not the ones that can make it. I encourage those who want to pursue this discussion to lobby the school board, to have it within school communities, and when they start communicating with us about a policy shift, then we can start thinking about a funding shift. But at this point, this is not our place to make this change. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Nash. Councilwoman Gadd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Henderson. I just want to rise and say and give my gratitude to the committee and to council members who took the time to make sure we're looking at some of the very specific impacts. I know almost half of the members here, I'm new to the body, but truly appreciate that we can take the time to understand the actions of our impact, or the impact of our actions. Specifically when it comes to, as the other council members have mentioned, what we have authority over and what we don't. While I'll be supporting today's resolution because of the way it's funded, accepting state dollars and not expanding and not making the policy decision to expand SROs, I do want to rise and lift up research that's evidence-based that SROs in schools, if you look at the Education Trust of Tennessee and other evidence-based research, do have a detrimental impact, whether that's through mental health or other arrests on our Black and brown students. And that's not only nationwide, that's in Tennessee as well. So I think, if we get to the point we're able to have those policy discussions, I think that will be wonderful. But I do want to just say thank you. I know a couple of weeks ago was a little rocky kind of getting started, but having the time to understand this and understand that we may have a role in addressing the MOU, which is, I think, going to be incredibly important. I will go ahead and send my time to someone else, but just want to rise and thank my colleagues.
Okay, Councilwoman Evans, you are recognized. Oh, I apologize. Councilwoman Hancock, you were ahead in the queue. Councilwoman Evans, you are recognized, Ms. Hancock. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I would just like to rise in echoing Councilman Prepteet and Councilman Cash's statements that the SOers in middle school and high school are already there, and we are not changing any policy. And I would just like to highlight, for the benefit of many individuals in the community that might think the state is always doing things to us, in this instance, they're actually doing something for us. And when we can be good stewards of our taxpayer dollars and not have to spend extra taxpayer dollars on stuff that we already planned and accept these monies, whereas the state could have written the legislation to provide SROs just to middle schools and high schools that did not yet have them. Instead, they wrote it for everyone, and I really appreciate the inclusion, and I would like to accept those dollars gracefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hancock. Now you are recognized, Councilwoman Evans.
Thank you. I'd like to call a previous question.
Okay, there is a motion to call the previous question. So we are voting on the previous question. Are we seconding that motion, or we're just proceeding with the vote? Okay. Okay. Okay, we're going to try it by voice vote to start. Councilwoman Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Could you remind colleagues, since everyone's still kind of new, that if they vote for the previous question, they are ending the debate. And if they are voting against the previous question, they are allowing the rest of their colleagues to speak and discuss the matter.
Correct. I will take your point of order to clarify that calling the previous question does end debate. So we will try calling the question by a voice vote to start. But if it is unclear, then we will go to the machine. Okay. There is all in favor of the previous question. Say aye. Any saying no?
No.
Okay. I think we can, we just say it fails? Okay, well, let's go to the machine. We have a motion for the previous question. Mr. Clerk, can you open the machine? So colleagues, if you are voting in favor of the previous question, you are voting to end debate on this matter, RS 2023-16. If you do not want to end debate and you want to continue the discussion, you will vote no. It is a 2/3 vote of the body. We have 39. 2/3 of those voting. Calling the previous question, colleagues, is also not a debatable motion. Okay. All votes are in. Mr. Clerk, close the machine and record the vote, please. Okay. The motion fails. That is not 2/3 of everyone voting. So discussion on this matter continues, and so we will maintain the order of the queue. That means that Councilwoman Johnson, you are next to be recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So I want to again acknowledge
that this is an emotional issue, and I understand that. There's also multiple ways to address public safety, and I agree with that as well. There are lots of things that I think are worth funding. This particular situation that we're looking at is nothing but a financial decision. The MOU that is being discussed right now was executed between the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department and the school board in July. That MOU is going to be in place no matter how we vote today. The SROs that are in our high schools and middle schools are going to be in those schools no matter how we vote today. So this money is to go to the police department in order to alleviate some of the financial stress for those SROs that are in the schools, that will remain in the schools. Yes, it frees up some money. More than likely, that money will go towards overtime that we always incur. It cannot go to purchase other equipment. That is a capital expense. So it will always be somewhere around personnel, labor, whatever. This is a situation where we have an expense in our budget that we are being offered money for that line item expense. A vote, I'll say it again, I said it last time, a vote in favor of accepting this money is not necessarily your vote in favor of SROs, period. Your vote against this is not going to get rid of SROs or end that program. This is a fiscal responsibility decision in order to alleviate some of the financial stress that our taxpayers now have 100% of. It's $75,000 per SRO, which does not completely take care of that financial burden. There's fringe, there's equipment, there's training, there's all the stuff that goes into it. So I implore you, I understand that people don't agree with or like the fact that we have SROs in our school. That is not what is up for debate today. That is not what is up for debate. This is a financial decision. So I hope that you will vote in favor of accepting the money to alleviate the financial stress of something that we are going to have regardless.
Thank you, Councilwoman Johnson. Councilwoman Sepulveda, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. With respect to my colleagues, I think the outcry we heard was for gun reform. And so I hesitate to agree. I don't agree with the fact that SRO officers where the public was calling out for. We saw that didn't help the children in Florida when they were shot at. The SRO officer wasn't there to respond. I don't think it's a catch-all. I see this more as the state trying to wash its hands of its responsibility to pass adequate gun reform legislation, and I don't want to be a part of that. I was up there at the state when so many students were protesting. And in good conscience, I can't vote for something, even if it does free up some more money, when we have so many people that were reaching out asking for change. And I don't think this sends a good message. So I can't support that. I think that my colleague, Councilmember Preptit, had it right when he was looking at the MOU. It's not clear. It's not clear what the direction is for MMPS and for the SRO officers currently in the school. So with that, I can't vote in favor of it. I can't when so many students need change. And even if this doesn't come before us and this is coming before the school board, we control the budget of many of these departments. And I want this to be a clear message from me that it's time for us to look at other ways of helping our children in schools.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sepulveda. Councilwoman Welsh, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I rise in opposition to this for a number of reasons, but let's just get away from the whole idea of public safety. What this is doing is handing MNPD over $3 million unencumbered dollars because we cannot move that money from MNPD under our current rules under the charter. So we are simply handing MNPD an additional $3 million we did not allocate to their budget that they can use to spend on whatever they want. They told us in committee 2 weeks ago that they were going to use that to offset some 4% requests, but those are requests that we might not approve and want to fund for any number of reasons. This is simply upping the MNP budget once again. We give MNPD everything that they want all the time. We budgeted money for SROs. It's in the budget. That money stays with MNPD, and right now, once this comes in, it pushes that money out that MNPD could buy weapons of mass destruction if they want, and we, who control the budget, have no say over where that money is going. So getting away from that whole argument of public safety, this is a budget issue, and there is no reason that MNPD should get an additional $3 million when so many other departments are wanting for so many basic things. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Welsh. Councilmember Cortez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I want to say I've only been a member of this body for a very short time, and I want to say how much I appreciate the perspectives of everyone in this body. I've learned so much just in these few weeks, so I want to thank you for sharing that perspective in this issue. I do feel a duty, though. One of the reasons I ran for this seat was to help bring clarity and build trust within the community, and I feel one way to do that is to be very clear about what we have control over and what we are voting on. I see this as a financial issue. It is a program that's already in place that we are being dutiful stewards of the taxpayers' money. And I feel a very strong duty to do that. I do understand it's a very emotional issue, and I do appreciate everything that everyone has shared. And I do appreciate the young gentleman who continues to show up at the meetings. I hope you say civically engaged. It fires me up when I see young people speaking at meetings like this. But this, I do feel very strong that we have to watch after the residents' the taxpayers' dollars. And I have full faith in this body. If there is ever abuse in any department, that the members of this body and the mayor will stand up. And I have full faith in our body and the mayor if that happens. So I would implore you to please think of the taxpayers in this and what we can do moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Cortez. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I initially did not plan to speak on this, but after hearing some of my colleagues, I just couldn't stay seated. Councilwoman Sora actually stated a couple of things that I had written down. We asked for gun reform, plain and simple. We asked for it, we demanded it, we marched, we protested, we cried, and we got money for police officers in schools in response to the demand of parents, to the demand of students, to the demand of teachers, to the demand of educators. Yes, this is a financial decision. There is no amount of money that is worth trading in your values. And for me, this is a value-based decision. I understand that voting this down does not change SRO officers in schools, but as a mother of a public school, high school student, SRO officers in schools do not make me feel safe, nor do they make my child feel safe. I've talked to several students about this issue. Granted, I've not talked to all 70,000 students in MNPS or how many students we have. I've talked to several students on this issue. Students are split on the issue. There are some students that do feel safer. There are many students that don't feel safer. Not all communities feel safer with additional policing and over-policing. I spent over almost very close to 10 years, over 9 years, almost 10 years in public education before I became a council member. I have seen with my own eyes SRO officers involved in disciplinary issues, including with students with disabilities, escalating situations where students with disabilities ended up leaving the building in handcuffs. I've seen elementary school students, a first grader and a third grader, taken out of an elementary school. Their wrists were so small, they could not fit in handcuffs. They had to be zip tied. They were babies. We don't need SRO officers in school. So vote how you choose to vote. Because to some of your point, SRO officers are not going to leave the school system this year. So vote your conscience. But for me and my conscience, there's no amount of money that you can give me that's going to make my child feel safer or the students that I talk to feel safer by putting more police officers in school when we need to be funding wraparound services, social emotional support services, not more police officers.
Thank you, Councilwoman Porterfield. Councilman Rutherford, you are recognized.
Previous question?
I thought you might do that. Non-debatable motion, colleagues, and given the vote the last time, Mr. Clerk, if you would open the machines. So colleagues new to the body, Councilman Rutherford has called the previous question. If you want to end debate on this matter, you would vote yes. If you want to continue the debate, you would vote no. Councilwoman Suara, are you seeking to vote on this, on the previous question? ITS, could you assist? Okay, with all votes in, Mr. Clerk, please. Okay, I can inquire, but at present, the queue is not visible on my screen, so it's not until we've closed this vote and proceeded, then I can ascertain that. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Motion fails, 22 yes, 16 no. So discussion continues. Yes, Councilwoman Suara, you are, in fact, next in the queue. Councilwoman Suara, you are recognized for continued discussion on RS 2023-16.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I rise because I do not like misinformation.
I apologize, Ms. Suara.
Or when we oversimplify things. I made my intention known last meeting how I'm going to vote, and I'm okay with it. But when I hear things that look like they just oversimplify things, it just doesn't sit well. There are a couple of things that I want to address and think maybe Councilmember Porterfield did say some of it. The fact about the money piece of it and the fact that it's only about money. I think when you are part of a community that this impacts, it's a lot more than money. And it has to be more than money. Because for every life that is impacted, that money is not even enough. For the 13 or 14 that is arrested, what that is going to do to their life and the lives of their family, you cannot put a dollar value on that. And I think we have to be very careful when we're passionate and we're talking about things and we're making our point to not, how do I say it, ignore the pains and the cries of other people. And we have to be mindful of the word that we use. And so only money, I think is not the best way to go. Someone says that this is a decision for MMPS because it's a policy issue. I'm a parent too, and we have a right to be able to say, this is what we want to vote on, this is what we want to support. Otherwise, what are we doing? And so us taking a stand, whether MMPS agrees or not, is for us to take a stand on what we think is right here. And I think members should be mindful of that. At least that's what I'm looking at. And the last thing that I want to also address is this fact about we're going to give taxpayer money back. No, we're not. That $3 million is not coming back into the general fund. So I don't know where that idea of, so if we reimburse ourselves, does that mean if we get the money back, we can put it back in schools? No. I think Councilmember Welch explaining that when we get it back, it just stays back with the police department to do other things with. So it's not like that money comes back and we're using it for the schools again. So I think we have to be very careful as we're making our argument to not discredit other people's thoughts or actions, or to also not oversimplify. This is a very serious conversation, one that needs a whole lot more to be discussed. My kid was in school and my kid was not safe with SRO. And it's not that she's done anything, she did not. And so the feelings of kids that feel like when they see the police officers is not safe for them is very valid. And there's a lot more conversations to be had on that front. So I just wanted to stand and say, I will be voting no. I've already said that, but I wanted to clarify that us saying that it's not our place or it's not our job, is this, I just wanted to make sure that we clarify some of those things. It's about money, but that money is not coming back to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Suara. Councilwoman Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I appreciate this discussion. I think this is such an important topic, and I think we all feel very strongly that more discussion needs to happen to make changes to the policy. I've already sent an email to all the school board members that I can find their email for, saying I want to open this discussion up. I want a database decision on whether school resource officers really are effective, whether they make our boards more safe or not. I do respect the fact that our very thoughtful school board has made this decision for this year. And I think it's important to explain my vote, that it's not that I don't care about these very important issues and traumatic experiences that have happened. I think that it's important for us to tell the school board that we want this to be revisited, and that we are supportive of what they have decided at this point, but we don't necessarily agree with it, and we would like to see that change. And so I think it's important that people look at how we vote and know that we are all doing it thoughtfully, and that each of us cares deeply about our students, and that our vote is not, even if we do say that we think this money is a reimbursement and that there is a possibility that at the end of the year it will result in MNPD having surplus money that could go back to the general fund. We don't have a guarantee for that for sure, but it is a possibility. It is not just a financial decision, but it doesn't make any difference if we make a stand, if we don't then also follow through and work with the school board members to make a change. And I intend to do that. I've already begun that process. It's important to me for people to understand that that's what the most important thing here is. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Allen. Seeing no other colleagues in the queue for discussion, and with a motion to approve properly seconded, Mr. Clerk, can you please open the machines? You're voting on RS 2023-16. With all votes in, Mr. Clerk, please close the machine and call the vote. The motion passes, 23 in favor, 12 against, and 2 abstentions. Thank you for the discussion, colleagues. Moving on to RS 2023-21, Porterfield, Evans, and Allen. This is a resolution approving an application for a hotspot violent crime intervention fund, targeted community crime reduction project grant from the Tennessee Office of Criminal Justice Programs to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department to utilize funding for the formation of the PAL program to help build strong community relations and facilitate early intervention in the lives of at-risk youth, and to purchase equipment and increase staffing to better prepare officers to respond to violent crime incidents. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Committee reports, please.
Okay. Councilwoman Evans, you're recognized for your committee report.
We considered this and approved it in favor, 9, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Porterfield, Budget and Finance had previously approved?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Prior meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So with those committee reports in, you are recognized.
Move for approval.
Okay. Do I hear a second? Okay. Councilwoman Porterfield has moved approval of this resolution. All in favor, say aye. Pardon? I apologize. Council Director Darby has reminded me that I failed to call for discussion. And so I guess we'll work. Okay. All right. So is there anyone seeking to be recognized for discussion? We have a motion to approve and it's properly seconded. Anyone seeking to be recognized for discussion? Okay. Seeing none, I do see a notation that we might have an abstention or a no call. So do we need to do this by machine? Okay. All righty. So we'll start with voice. All in favor of Resolution 2023-21, please say aye. Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Okay. With a singular abstention, Mr. Clerk, will you just record Councilwoman Kimbrough's abstention, please? And then we can proceed by rule with a singular abstention. Okay. Now, moving along with items that are not on consent. Agenda item 5, RS 2023-45, sponsors Benedict, Porterfield, Welsh, and Swara, is a resolution approving a Pathways to Removing Obstacles to Housing Pro-Housing grant application from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Planning Commission to eliminate barriers to housing security, particularly for low to moderate income families. Councilwoman Benedict, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval. Oh, sorry about that. Committee reports.
Yes, request your committee reports. Thank you. Councilwoman Porterfield, you're recognized for the Budget and Finance Committee report, please.
Budget and Finance approved, 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Okay. Councilman Rutherford, you are recognized for the Planning and Zoning Committee report.
Thank you, Madam President. Planning and Zoning Committee met and considered RS 2023-45. There was an amendment. We voted 13 in favor, 0 against, 1 and no abstentions on the amendment, and then 13 in favor, 0 against, no abstentions on the resolution as amended.
Okay, thank you. So now it's back to you, Councilwoman Benedict, for a motion on your amendment.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And this time I'd like to move approval.
Do you want to move your amendment?
I want to move the amendment first. Yep.
Okay, would you like to just give a brief explanation to colleagues what the amendment does, please?
Yes. The amendment adds 2 letters of support to the grant application. And so that's the simple part, just 2 letters of support.
Okay, with that, and seeing no questions or discussion about, I apologize. There you are, Ms. Gamble, in the queue. Are you seeking to be recognized on the amendment? Okay. Anyone seeking to be recognized on the amendment? Okay. There is a motion to approve the amendment, properly seconded. All in favor of the amendment? Okay, you adopt the amendment. Now, Councilwoman Benedict, back to you. Pardon? I apologize. Is anyone opposed to the amendment? Is anyone wanting to abstain on the amendment to add 2 additional letters to the grant package? No. Okay, now it's back to you, Councilwoman Benedict, on your bill as amended.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So the Pro Housing Grant is a $10 million application for a new program that the Housing of Urban Development, the federal government is offering an $85 million grant nationally. We are seeking $10 million of that, which is the maximum amount that any municipality can apply for. We have, as a part of that, the planning department encouraged written comments and had 2 meetings and a Zoom to receive public comment on that, and they are also still receiving public comment through 11 p.m. tonight. This will be used to develop zoning and land use policy that encourages missing middle housing, which is we have a huge need for that in the city. We'll also create affordable units that will be worked on with developers and contractors, and it will create affordable housing on the land of faith-based organizations. Additionally, and finally, it will create supportive housing for those with 0 to 30% AMI. So really great programs that are offered, and the planning department has done an excellent job in creating and writing the grant. And I think that this program is fantastic. We have a huge need for it. And with that, I would seek the body's approval. Thank you.
Okay, so is your motion then to move the bill as, or rather the resolution as amended?
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay. There is a motion, and that's been seconded? Second? Yes, okay. Now, discussion then on the resolution as amended. Councilwoman Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to rise in support of the resolution and application for the Pro Housing Grant. I do want to note that during our planning committee meeting yesterday, we learned that while there has been some outreach to affordable housing developers and community organizations, there hasn't been a lot of outreach and input from neighborhood organizations. And so I'd like to just work with the Planning Commission to make sure that, or Planning Department rather, to make sure that we do more community engagement after the deadline of 11 a.m. tonight or 11 p.m. tonight, and hope that we get this grant and we would have that input prior to receiving the grant. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gamble. Councilwoman Hancock, you are recognized.
And there's been a flurry of posts and emails from the Madison community about this particular resolution. And I do understand that the grant deadline is October 30th, so we do not want to delay. I do want to echo Councilwoman Gamble's thoughts and comments that we need to make sure to, if we are funded, to use some of that resource to help engage the community more thoroughly instead of just having 14 pieces of public input on a countywide piece of legislation. But I do appreciate the work and the effort that's been gone through to go after this grant. It's a sizable one, and best of luck.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hancock. Seeing no further discussion and with a proper motion for approval as amended, all in favor of Resolution 2023-45, please say aye. Aye. Any voting no? Any abstentions? Okay, you adopt this resolution. Okay, our next resolution not on consent is RS 2023-55, a resolution accepting a hotspot violent crime intervention fund targeted community crime reduction project grant from the Tennessee Office of Criminal Justice Programs to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department to provide support to local law enforcement in developing and implementing evidence-based strategies to combat violent crime. Let's see, that was Councilwoman Porterfield, Evans, and Nash. And so, Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 10 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstaining.
1 abstaining, okay. Councilwoman Evans, you are recognized.
Public Health and Safety voted 9 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstentions.
Okay. Let's see, Councilwoman Porterfield, back to you for a motion.
Move for approval.
Okay, Councilwoman Porterfield has moved approval. Any discussion? Seeing none, with a motion to approve properly seconded. I know we've got an abstention. Okay. All in favor say aye. Any voting no? Any abstentions? Okay, Councilwoman Kimbrough, with a singular abstention, you will be recorded as such. Okay. Our next resolution not on consent is RS 2023-58, sponsor Allen. This is a resolution recognizing the finalists for the Youth Civic Contest, Show Us Your Nashville, hosted by Citizenship and Vanderbilt University's Project on Unity and Democracy. Councilwoman Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilwoman Sepulveda, you are recognized. Okay, Mr. Prep-T as Vice Chair. Hang on just a second. You are recognized for a report on 2023-58.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. With regards to item number 18, RS 2023-58, the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee reviewed this resolution and voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Mr. Prep-T. Back to you, Councilwoman Allen.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I pulled this off consent only because I want to invoke the Murphy Rule and ask if everyone voting the affirmative could be added as a sponsor. This is a great organization that works to get kids engaged in civics, and this was a contest to let them deal with Nashville's deepest issues like housing and gentrification and traffic, and show us what their ideal Nashville was. There were 25 finalists. They're listed in the resolution, and I am asking to have some of their presentations on display for our next meeting, and they will actually be here for us to present this. And so, anyway, this is the next generation of kids that are going to be back there holding us accountable, starting early. So I would just ask that we can invoke the Murphy Rule and ask for everyone's affirmative vote. Thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion for approval. Do I hear a second? Okay. The Murphy Rule has been invoked for all to sign on to this. All in favor say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay. You adopt this resolution. And thank you, Councilwoman Allen, for those lovely idea. We would love to see their work out in our mezzanine. Okay, RS 2023-59, Gamble, Stiles, and Taylor is a resolution recognizing the 50th anniversary of the Fisk University radio station. Councilwoman Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Okay. Not seeing Chair Sepulveda, and following the most recent pattern to go to Mr. Prep T. You're recognized for a committee report on RS 2023-59, please.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. RS 2023-59 was reviewed by the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee, and it was voted in favor, six in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Councilman Prep T. So it's back to you, Councilwoman Gamble, for a motion.
Thank you. I'd like to move for approval with a brief explanation.
Go ahead.
Yes, I also pulled this off of consent in order to invoke the Murphy rule so that everyone voting in affirmative be added as a sponsor on this. As a Fisk University graduate and former producer and talk show host for WFSK, it is an honor to recognize the station on its 50th anniversary. I did a show called All Things Fisk that talked about services and information for the North Nashville community. They are still doing that today, and with Sharon Kay and her 411 show, and I'd like to invite her at some point to come and be recognized with the resolution, but ask that everyone who votes in the affirmative sign on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gamble. There's a motion properly seconded for approval and invoking the Murphy rule to all sign on. All in favor say aye. Any voting no? Any abstentions? Okay, you adopt the resolution recognizing the 50th anniversary of Fisk University Radio. RS 2023-60, sponsor Councilwoman Stiles, is a resolution recognizing the 125th anniversary of the YWCA of Nashville and Middle Tennessee. Councilwoman Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilman Prep T, you're recognized on RS 2023-60.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. With regards to RS 2023-60, the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee reviewed this resolution, voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Councilman Prep T. Councilwoman Stiles, it's back to you for a motion, please.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval and also request that the Murphy rule be placed on this as well. And if I could make a brief comment.
You may.
Thank you very much. Over the course of the last couple of years, certainly through the Women's Caucus, we have honored the YW Weaver Domestic Violence Center for the work that they have done. And now it is the YWCA's 125th anniversary. And this is an opportunity for us to thank them for all of the work that they've done, not only with the Weaver Domestic Violence Center, but also with Girls Inc. and their literacy programs. They are helping women, children, families across Davidson County and Middle Tennessee. And we are very fortunate. The CEO is here this evening. Sharon Roberson has been patiently waiting for us to get to this resolution. And so grateful for your presence, ma'am. And I would ask all of my colleagues to vote in support of this resolution.
All right, welcome to our friends from the YWCA. We appreciate you, and we are so glad to celebrate your anniversary. So, colleagues, you have a motion to approve, properly seconded, RS 2023-60. All in favor say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay, you adopt this resolution. Thank you. Okay, RS 2023-61 by Councilwoman Vo is a resolution recognizing October 2023 as Filipino American History Month in Nashville and Davidson County. Councilwoman Vo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee report, please.
Councilman Prep T, will you, Councilwoman Sepulveda, you're back. Will you be giving the committee report for this?
Yes, I'm back. Rules voted 6 in favor, 0 against.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman Sepulveda. That's back to you, Ms. Vo, for a motion, and I assume a brief comment.
Yes, I would like to bring attention to Resolution 2023-61 to celebrate Filipino American History Month. It is celebrated in October to recognize and honor the contributions to Filipino Americans to the rich cultural tapestry in the U.S. As the third largest Asian American and Pacific Islander group in the United States, with around 4.5 million, there are about 2,000 living in Nashville and Davidson County. And this resolution promotes understanding, inclusivity, and appreciation for the diverse heritage that makes our city stronger. By passing such a resolution, our council is supporting Asian Pacific Islander historical and cultural awareness, fostering unity and respect among communities. So I would like to invoke the Murphy Rule and ask that everyone who votes in the affirmative be added as a sponsor. And then do I motion to approve now?
Yes, and next time what you'll do is you'll move to approve first with a brief comment and then after, but it's all good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve. Second, Murphy Rule invoked for all of us to sign on. All in favor of this resolution recognizing October as Filipino American History Month, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay, you adopt that resolution. That concludes the resolutions. And so now we are moving to bills on introduction and first reading. Okay, if there's no objection, we'll consider all ordinances on first reading in one vote at this time. No objection? Okay. Yep. Is there a motion to adopt all the bills on first reading? I heard the second. Thank you. Any discussion about the bills on first reading? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Any abstentions? Okay, our motion passes. So we have adopted all bills on first reading. Okay. As we move into second reading, and I'm not sure if he is still with us, and I apologize. And so as we move into second reading, we begin to see items that are approved and referred to the Planning Commission. I did want to be sure to recognize and welcome former Councilman and Planning Commissioner Brett Withers, who will be serving as our new council liaison and working with Matthew Wilkinson in our office and Assistant Director Lisa Milligan at Planning. And we appreciate that, and we welcome Brett back. And I should have thanked Brett earlier, but hey, here we are. Okay. Welcome back to Councilman Withers. Okay, so now moving right along to bills on second reading. Okay. So now we are on bills on second reading for the consent agenda. Okay. These ordinances are BL 2023-2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, and these are bill numbers, 15, 16, 17, 18, Bill 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, Bill 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, Bill 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, and 69. Okay, so these are all the ordinances on second reading consent. Does anybody need to pull anything from second reading consent? Seeing none, I will read the captions. I know you're all looking forward to that after such a lengthy, long list of counting numbers. Okay. BL 2023-2, Porterfield and Evans is an ordinance approving an agreement between the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, United Way of Greater Nashville, and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by and through the Office of Emergency Management to support disaster recovery efforts. BL 2023-3, Sepulveda is an ordinance readopting the Code of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, Tennessee, prepared by Municipal Code Corporation, including a supplemental and replacement pages thereof containing certain ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted on or before March 23rd, 2023. BL 2023-4, an ordinance, Taylor, Porterfield, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance approving a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure, aka NDOT, and the Cheatham County Railroad Authority for the rehabilitation and repair of the overhead railroad bridge crossing Albion Street and an upgrade to Albion Street under the bridge. BL 2023-5, Benedict, Rutherford, and Parker. Nope, sorry, that was not on consent. My apologies. BL 2023-6 is an ordinance to amend the Geographic Information System street and alley centerline layer for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by abandoning a portion of North 18th Street unimproved right-of-way. BL 2023-7 is an ordinance to amend the Geographic Information System street and alley centerline layer for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by abandoning a portion of Hillside Avenue right-of-way fronting map 10505051100. Okay, BL 2023-8, Benedict, Rutherford, and Parker is an ordinance to amend the Geographic Information System street and alley centerline layer for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by abandoning a portion of Keller Avenue and Scott Avenue right-of-way at the southeast corner of map. Are we seriously going to read all these numbers? Do we have to read them? Okay. Map 072064N900000C, letter O. Okay, BL 2023-9, Welsh, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance to amend the Geographic Information System street and alley centerline layer for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by abandoning alley number 1838 right-of-way between Cruzen Street and Winford Avenue. BL 2023-10, Coopin, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing Rutledge Flats LLC to install, construct, and maintain aerial and underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 622 3rd Avenue South. BL 2023-12, an ordinance approving a contract between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and FLW Southeast, Inc. to provide Siemens process, instrument, products, parts, and repair services. That was sponsors Porterfield and Parker. BL 2023-13, sponsors Gadd, Rutherford, and Parker. An ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to negotiate and accept permanent and temporary easements for the Meadowcrest Lane Stormwater Improvement Project for 3 properties located at 5611 and 5613 Meadowcrest Lane and 5522 Bon Air Circle. BL 2023-14, sponsors Cap, Rutherford, and Parker is an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon easement rights for property located at 936 Riverside Drive, formerly a portion of Waters Avenue. BL 2023-15, Rutherford and Parker is an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at West Division Street, unnumbered, in Hermitage, Wilson County, also known as the Canebrake Subdivision, Phase 1A. BL BL 2023-16, sponsors Rutherford and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at West Division Street, unnumbered, in Hermitage, Wilson County, also known as the Canebrake Subdivision, Phase 1B. BL 2023-17, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 4421 and 4395 Maxwell Road, also known as Percy Cove Off-Site. That was Rutherford and Parker. BL 2023-18 sponsors Rutherford and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 3 properties located at 4421 and 4395 Maxwell Road and Maxwell Road unnumbered, also known as Percy Cove on site. BL 2023-19, Gamble, Rutherford and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 3 properties located at 1269 Hunters Lane and Hunters Lane unnumbered, also known as Heritage Creek Phase 5. BL 2023-20, Gamble, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept a new public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at Hunters Lane unnumbered, also known as Heritage Creek Phase 6. BL 2023-21, Welsh, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water main and to accept new public water mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manhole, and easements for property located at Tuggle Avenue unnumbered, also known as Tuggle SP. BL 2023-22, Stiles, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water mains, to accept the relocation of a fire hydrant assembly, and new public water main for property located at 4001 Cane Ridge Parkway, also known as Cane Ridge Parkway Water Main Adjustment. BL 2023, Rutherford, Parker, and Lee, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept a new public water pressure reducing station, new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 4 properties located at 5866 Pettus Road and Pettus Road unnumbered, also known as Cedars of Cane Ridge Phase 1. BL 2023-24, Rutherford, Parker, and Lee, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, adjustment of a sanitary sewer manhole, and easements for property located at 7211 Carruthers Road, also known as Carruthers Crossing Phase 5A. BL 2023-25, Taylor, Rutherford, and Parker, is an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water main and to accept new public water mains for property located at 3107 B. Bellwood Street, also known as Bellwood Condominiums. BL 2023-26, Rutherford and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, and sanitary sewer manhole for 2 properties located at 1015 and 1016 Gant Hill Drive, also known as Old Burkett Road, Phase 2. BL 2023-27, Welsh, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to accept new sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 8 properties located at Thompson Lane and Grandview Avenue. BL 2023-28 is an ordinance Toombs, Rutherford, and Parker is an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 2423 Buena Vista Pike and Buena Vista Pike unnumbered, also known as Buena Vista Hearth and Haven. BL 2023-29, Benedict, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at Hart Lane. BL 2023-30, Rutherford and Parker, an ordinance authorizing Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manhole, and easements for 3 properties located at 1303, 1401, 1425 Gallatin Pike. BL 2023-31, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manhole, fire hydrant assembly, and easements for 2 properties located at 717B Old Hickory Boulevard and 5600B Oaks Drive. That was Johnston, Rutherford, and Parker. BL 2023-32, Taylor, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 3124 Torbit Street. BL 2023-33, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville, Davidson County to abandon existing water and sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manhole to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 118 12th Avenue South, also known as Hyatt Caption Hotel. That was Coop and Rutherford and Parker. BL 2023-34, Gregg, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 1908 Lebanon Pike and Lebanon Pike unnumbered. Gregg, Rutherford, and Parker, can't remember if I already said that. BL 2023-35, Welsh, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 14B Whitsett Road, also known as Whitsett Townhomes. BL 2023-36, Evans, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for properties located at Kemp Drive unnumbered. BL 2023-37, Taylor, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville, Davidson County to accept a new public water main for 2 properties located at 2202 and 2204 Batavia Street, also known as Batavia Street Water Extension. BL 2023-38, an ordinance authorizing Metropolitan Government of Nashville, Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manhole and to accept new public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 1414 3rd Avenue North, also known as the Astor. Councilman Coopin, Rutherford, and Parker. BL 2023-39, Coopin, Rutherford, and Parker sponsors an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manhole, and easements, and to accept new public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manhole, easements, and the rehabilitation of 2 existing sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 419 Gay Street, also known as the NES Central Substation. BL 2023-40 sponsors Eslick, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water main and easement and to accept the vertical relocation of 2 sanitary sewer manholes, new public water main and easement for property located at 1050 Donaldson Avenue, also known as Old Hickory Community Center. BL 2023-41 is an ordinance with sponsor Style, Rutherford, and Parker, is an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes for 2 properties located at 5400 and 5450 Mountain View Road. BL 2023-42 is an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 9853 and 9837 Split Log Road in Williamson County. Sponsors Rutherford and Parker. BL 2023-43 sponsors Eslick, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville, Davidson County to accept new sanitary sewer force main and appurtenance for 6 properties at Jones Circle, also known as the Homes of Jones Circle. BL 2023-44 sponsors Parker and Rutherford, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 3 properties located at 272 and 288 Broadmoor Drive and 301 Ben Allen Road, also known as Ben Allen Ridge Apartments. BL 2023-45 sponsors Taylor, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government in Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer sewer manhole for property located at 4000 Dr. Walter S. Davis Boulevard, also known as the Live Anthem, something, a Roman numeral, I don't know, the anthem. Taylor, Rutherford, and Parker. BL 2023-46 sponsors Cash, Rutherford, and Parker, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to accept new public water, sanitary sewer, and combined sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary and combined sewer manholes and easements, the relocation of one public fire hydrant assembly, and the conversion of combined sewer main from public to private for property located at 2600 Jess Neely Drive, also known as Vanderbilt University Central Utilities Initiative Project. That was sponsors Cash, Rutherford, and Parker. BL 2023-47, sponsors Cap, Rutherford, and Parker. An ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water mains and to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 701 South 6th Street, also known as Boscobel 5 and 6 Development. BL 2023-48, sponsors Ellis, Rutherford, and Parker. An ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 3156 Anderson Road. Ellis, Rutherford, and Parker sponsors. BL 2023-49 sponsors Gamble, Rutherford, and Parker. An ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easement for property located at 401 East Williams Avenue, also known as Williams Retreat Phase 2. BL 2023-50, an ordinance sponsors Cash, Rutherford, and Parker. An ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to accept new public sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 4 properties located at Caldwell Avenue, also known as Belmont Caldwell Hall 2. BL 2023-51 sponsors Cap, Rutherford, and Parker. An ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manhole, and relocation of a fire hydrant assembly for property located at 501 Sylvan Street, also known as 5th and Summer. BL 2023-52, Bradford, Rutherford, and Parker sponsors. An ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon an existing public fire hydrant assembly and to accept a new public fire hydrant assembly for property located at Ned Shelton Road, unnumbered, also known as Air Park Commerce. BL 2023-53 sponsors Toombs, Rutherford, and Parker. An ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer manhole and to accept new sanitary sewer main and public sanitary sewer manholes for 3 properties located at 2401, 2403A, and 2403B Grover Street. Sponsors Toombs, Rutherford, and Parker. BL 2023-69, sponsor Stiles, an ordinance approving a license agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by and through the Department of General Services and the Salvation Army for use of storage space located at 5244 Hickory Hollow Parkway, Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. Okay. Do I need to ask about consent one more time? Okay. One last time, just in case, after all that, is there anything that needs to be removed from the second reading ordinances on consent? Happily seeing none. Let's see. Now we will go to committee chairs. Let's see. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Budget and Finance consider BL 2023-2, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions, and BL 2023-4, as well as BL 2023-12. Both of those passed, 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Okay, and did you have a committee report on BL 2023-69, which was also on consent, and I show as before your committee?
One moment, Vice Mayor.
But it had 2 committee referrals, so. Oh, yeah.
Okay, my apologies It was on consent, yes, 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilwoman Porterfield. Councilman Rutherford for the report on planning and zoning, which will also be very lengthy, sir. And you could feel free to take them in the collective, or does he have to?
I have that ready to go.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's go.
Planning and zoning met and considered BL 2023-4 and 6 through 10 and 13 through 53 and 69, voting 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions to all.
Okay. Councilwoman Evans, you are recognized.
Thank you. We considered in Public Health and Safety BL 2023-2, and we voted in favor, 12 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Thank you, Councilwoman Evans. Councilwoman Sepulveda on BL 2023-3. Committee report, please.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Rules considered BL 2023-3. We voted 6 in favor, 0 against. And with that, I move approval of the consent agenda.
Oh, I appreciate you, but I should have put you last. You weren't.
Oh, I thought I was last.
No, you should be. But I've got to go back to Councilman Parker as Chair of Transportation and Infrastructure. Councilman Parker, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Transportation and Infrastructure considered bills 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 13 through 53. And we recommended approval of all of those bills, 11 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstentions.
Okay. Would you kindly make a motion for approval of all the items on the second reading consent agenda?
Move the second reading consent agenda.
Is there a second? Okay. All in favor of the very, very lengthy second reading consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Any voting no? Any abstentions? Okay, you have adopted the consent agenda. And now we need to go back to the items that were remaining that were not on consent, which happily are very few. Okay. Okay. BL 32 on your agenda, BL 2023-1 sponsors Porterfield and Bradford, is an ordinance approving the contract between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County Metro and NetTango Inc. to provide website maintenance and development support for Metro's website, nashville.gov, and for other Metro governmental agency or department websites as needed, and which will replace the expiring contract between the parties. Councilwoman Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report, Budget and Finance approved 13 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstaining.
Okay, Councilman Bradford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Government Ops, BL 2023-1, we voted 9 in favor, 0 against to defer one meeting.
Okay, and so with that, that is an automatic deferral by rule with no discussion. So item 32, BL 2023-1 is deferred by rule. Okay, agenda item number 36, BL 2023-5, sponsors Benedict, Rutherford, and Parker, is an ordinance to amend the Geographic Information System street and alley center line layer for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by renaming Due West Avenue between Gallatin Pike and Fernbank Drive to Montauk Way. Councilwoman Benedict, you are recognized. Oh, pardon me. Try again. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilwoman, let's see. There's no report from a.
I think just planning and zoning.
Yep,
Councilman. Okay.
yep, Councilman Rutherford, you are recognized for planning and zoning.
Thank you, Madam President. Planning and zoning met and considered BL 2023-5 and voted 13 in favor, 0 against, 1 abstention, or no abstentions, I'm sorry, to defer 1 meeting.
Okay. And I guess I will go ahead and get the second committee report, but I know where this is headed. Councilman Parker, hang on, got to uncue some other folks. Councilman Parker, you are recognized for your committee's report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Transportation considered BL 2023-5 and voted 11 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting to defer 1 meeting at the sponsor's request.
Okay, that is deferred by rule, colleagues. 1 meeting with no discussion. That's BL 2023-5. Okay. Also, agenda item 42, is that correct? BL 2023-11, sponsors Coopin, Rutherford, and Parker. Councilman Coopin, you are recognized. Go ahead, sir.
All right, I would like to move for approval.
You need to first request
I would like
committee
the
reports.
committee reports before I move for approval.
That's okay. Councilman Parker, you are recognized.
Thank you. Transportation considered BL 2023-11. We recommended in favor of the proposed substitute 11, none against, none not voting. And then the bill as substituted, we also recommended 11 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay. Councilman Rutherford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Planning and zoning met and considered BL 2023-11, voting 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstention on the substitute, and 13 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstaining on the bill as substituted.
Okay, Councilman Coopin, it's back to you for a motion to move your substitute.
I would like to move the substitute, please.
Okay, moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay, so Councilman Coopin, it's back to you for a motion on your bill as substituted.
I would like to move the bill as substituted, please.
Okay, properly motion, properly second. All in favor of Councilman Coopin's bill as substituted, say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? No. Okay, all good. That's it, y'all. Okay, so that concludes the agenda of our second meeting. Our next meeting will be on November 7th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Yay. We're adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.